everyone. Thank you so much. I apologize for the delay on getting you guys the recording from our May virtual user group. There was an issue with the Zoom recording, so I have asked Alex and Aniket to please join us again to go through their presentations and record it. So without further ado, we are going to jump right in, and I'm going to turn it over to Aniket and give you your May virtual user group again.
All right. Hey, everyone. Hello again. So we will be going over the designer features that we achieved in 9.3. So to give you guys a quick overview, so basically this is what we did in 9.3. So we introduced a bunch of features that cater to these 5-6 themes that are in front of your screen. So we did a bunch of legwork in the Infosys to Designer migration. So now your Infosys content will be better supported in Designer. Then we did a bunch of reporting enhancements. We will obviously be going in detail in each one of them through demos and through these slides that I have prepared for you. So the second item that we have is reporting enhancements. So here we introduced, set commands, introduced some stuff for Excel, and basically built upon our existing reporting enhancements. We also made a bunch of changes to our authoring capabilities. So adding header and footer in Compose document, you can author content from Compose document itself, and then enhancing our legacy features like coordinated document and a bunch of other output options that we added to our authoring capabilities. Then we also updated our portals UI. So the customers that have worked with portals know that we sort of did not have a portals UI in Designer. So we have provided you with a modern looking and easy to navigate portals UI that you will see in a bit. And obviously we will do a demo for it. And now, looking forward for you to create your new portals using these UIs. Then we did a bunch of stuff, or rather this was a customer request that we worked upon, which was enhancing our Compose document capabilities for Excel. So right now here you can use compound reports to arrange your images, arrange your chart, arrange your reports in one sheet itself. And like that you can create multiple pages and arrange them relative to each other and position them the way that you want. And lastly, we did enhance our geoanalytics capabilities as well. So without further ado, diving into the specifics. So for Infosys to Designer migration, this is the list that we achieved. So as you can see, we have provided all this support to these legacy features. So table of content, active pages on demand, accordion, freeze, all of these features will now be available in Designer. And if you had those features available, or rather, if you had reports created with those features enabled in I, you can directly open them in Designer and start editing them in Designer, providing you with a modern experience with our flagship reporting tool. Then we have also added output formats, as you can see. So we added support for XLS formula, XML, JSON, and XLS template as an output option. Then we have the much awaited set command feature that we have added in the UI. So right now you can do it. You can use set commands directly from the UI instead of doing it syntactically. And then did a bunch of minor adjustment, like you can adjust the columns width. You can sort the columns based on the series, so on and so forth. Looking deeply into the reporting enhancements. So as I mentioned, we have added the UI for set command. So here you will see the UI, and I will explain this during my demos as well. Then we have added these formatting options. So now you can output your report and chart into applicable formats. And then the table of content, pages on demand, and so on and so forth have been added to the reports. On the compound document, these are some of the enhancements that we did. So we added coordinated document. So a coordinated document is nothing but something that, something that allows you to split your content into multiple pages. So for example, if I want to, let's say, um, I want to display my content based on my product category. So I can do that using coordinated documents. One page will be for just for, let's say accessories. The other page will be for television. The other page will be for um, video players, so on and so forth. Then we have also added support for heading and footing on the composed document itself. We have now added the ability to create content right from composed document itself. So you can, on the right hand side, you will have the chart picker, you will have select data source option, you will have access to fields, filters, so on and so forth. Speaking of our new portal's UI, so here you can see a glimpse of it. So this portal UI is, much more modern looking, much more easy to navigate, and we obviously have done a ton of work to give you this modern looking feel right here. That being said, we have provided all the functionality that we did, um, earlier have. So you can use all the functionality that you earlier did with this modern UI to now create your portals. Then this is what I was speaking with regards to Excel compound report. So here, basically earlier, if you used Excel compound uh, reports, every piece of content earlier would go into one separate sheet. So for example, if on one page I had a report, a chart, and an image, when I download it in an Excel format, um, there would be three sheets, and each sheet would have, so the first sheet would have report, second would have a chart, and the third one would have an image. So we have overcome this, and right now what you can do is you can place all of them in one sheet the way that you like. You can position them relative to each other, and you can create multiple sheets like this as you desire. And then lastly, speaking on the geo-analytics side, so we have, here as well done a bunch of enhancements that our user can start using. So notably, we added set an icon for each series. So what you can do is using this feature, you can set a predefined icon from these from the shape for each series, or you can also import an SVG or an image and use that as an icon as well. Then we have provided support for drill downs, did some font and other quality of life changes, and also provided support for themes. Now, without further ado, let's dive into the demos part of it. Okay, so starting off with the Infosys to Designer migration. So um, I will show you how you can, use the table of content, pages on demand, so on and so forth, features in Designer. So I've created this report using a sample data. What I can do is I can click on this format option right here. And from here, I can go to output settings. If I scroll down and the interactivity, I can see the 5 options that I have. The default will always be, or the default option would always be default table. However, you can choose any one of these per your requirements. Now let's view them in detail. So I'll be using HTML5 for this example. What I can do is I can click on uh, table of content, and when I click it on run a new window, this is how it will do. So what table of content does is it displays this particular icon on the top left corner. And when I click on it, just give it a sec to load. Okay, so while it loads, I'll just explain what the table of content does. So based on your primary sort field, it will create a list, and that will be your contents. For example, in this case, my primary, sort field is accessories. So it will create a table of table with that. So I should be able to navigate between different options in that. So this saves me time. This gives me easier access to this easier navigation options. Uh, Let me just play this again. Here it is. So here you can see you have the table of content displayed. I can also click on this plus icon, and under chargers, under accessories, under chargers, I can, in case if I want to jump to any specific item, I can do that as well. So for example, let's say I want to jump to Belgium, and here it is. So this gives you a much more modern looking navigation experience. Then we have the accordion option. Basically what accordion does is, again, for the primary sort field, it collapses and creates accordion so that the user can expand them, giving them a better control of the item that they are viewing. So for example, in this case, I can just focus on chargers and then this particular model right here. Um, in case if I want to do the same for any other, if I want to, giving a presentation and I want to just focus on my areas, so I can just keep them expanded, and then while I'm presenting, I can show them so the user focuses on, this particular item that I want to highlight. Moving on to freeze. So here what it does is it freezes the title and the heading. So I've just selected title for now. So as you scroll up, you should be able to, um, navigate through your content in an easy manner. At the top, since you have your column always there, you always know what you're looking at, no matter how further down you scroll. That is freeze for you. And then lastly, going on to pages of demand. So what this does is it basically takes your report, saves it on the server, and from there on, it loads pages, step by step. So in increments. So as you can see, this is breaking down into 98 pages, so that it gives you a faster viewing experience. And at the bottom, you also have this, navigation bar. So you can either use these options to navigate to the next page or to the last page, as you can see right here, and also use search to, in case if you're looking for search anything on the specific page, you can also do that. So that is pages on demand for you. I will now move on to some of the authoring enhancements that we did. Okay, so I'll give you a demo of the sort field. So as you can see, I've created this stacked bar chart. Now this stacked bar chart is, you know, um, I would like to say it's in a random order. However, as you can see, it's sorted in an ascending to descending order based on the product subcategory. What I want to do is I want to sort it based on an ascending order of this particular bar value. So to do that, what I can do is I can go to the horizontal bucket right here, which will be your dimensions bucket. I can click on this three ellipses icon, expand this, and here you will see sort by total volume, which is currently off. Let's say I want to sort it by ascending. So as you can see, it has sorted it into an ascending order with the least value being on my left-hand side and the highest value being on my right-hand side. If I want to reverse the order, I can always go back here. I can do descending, and there you go. So here you have the highest the highest value on the left-hand side with the lowest value being on the right-hand side. And in case if I want to go back to the order that it was originally in, I can click on off, and there it goes. It sorted itself into, the order that we originally started in. Also would like to give a quick demo on the set commands. So basically set commands, earlier you had to do it syntactically, wherein either you could do it, from the procedures or from the theme editor, sorry, from the text editor, um, or you needed to do some configuration in the admin console. So right now what we have done is we have taken, the most frequent used set commands, and added and created a list out of it, which can be accessed using this option right here from Designer. You can click on this set command option, and that will bring up this particular list. Now, this particular list is, this is a list that we thought would be useful. However, we are open to, based on your feedback, we can keep on adding to it. So I will show you one of the commands that I feel is more useful for, or rather frequently used, is the GS URL. So basically what this does is, using this, you can create an assemble page, and there I can set a target to do certain things. So for example, if I want to, if on click I have a bar chart and I want to display data for a particular bar in the container next to me, I can use a command for it. So let me just quickly grab that command. So this is the command. I can simply copy it, um, go back to my JS URL, it's enabled, paste it right here, click on OK. And basically with that, I can save it. And now let's see that in action. So I have already created this, configured it in assemble page. So let's say if I want to view data for television, um, um, I will click on television, give it a second to load. And yeah, here, as you can see, the pie chart that we earlier saw has been filtered out just for television. So you can see it as CRT TV, flat panel, portable, so on and so forth. If I want to, let's say, view for computers, I can click on computers and this will get updated. Yeah. Now, as you can see, this is the data for computers. Um, some of the commands that we included were these, as I mentioned. Another useful feature was no data. So here, in case if I have no data in a particular column, so I can, either represent it with a dash or NA, or just add in no data here. Uh, and that will be displayed, on the places that don't have data. And like this, a lot of features that earlier were done syntactically, now you have a UI for it. And yeah, looking forward to you guys using this particular feature. Moving on to some of our um, compose document enhancements that we did. So the first thing that we did was, um, you can now, okay, let me launch it from the get-go. Okay, so from the navigation panel, if you see, you now have the outline fields, content, and controls options. So using this, you can not only drag and drop your existing content. So for example, in this case, I'm using this particular chart, but I can now also start authoring content. What do I mean by that? So I can click on this add container option, and what that will prompt me to do is that will now prompt me to select a data source. Let me select a sample data source. Cool. So now, as you can see, this is my this is my container right here. On the extreme right hand side, you have your chart pickers. So from here, I can, just like Designer, I can select any of the chart that I want to create. Let's pick a line chart. And then uh, since I'm authoring content here, the tab on my left hand side panel has changed to fields. So here I can see the fields, dimensions and measures, that I have with my data set. Let me quickly populate a sample chart. So as you can see, I have populated the chart right here. So uh, also, if I want to change it to, let's say, bar chart, I can do that from this content panel, right? Chart picker right here. Another useful feature that we added was provided the support for heading and footing. So what I can do is I can right click on an authored content and I will see these two options, edit heading and delete component. Delete component will delete the heading and footing, which can later be enabled from your settings panel right here. So I can click on this and this will prompt a dialog box. So I can edit my text here. I'll just write sample text. If I want to format it, I can just select the text. Let's say I want to increase the font size to 36. That does it. Changes to italic. Um, and adding a random color. So as you can see, you can view your text at real time. Let me change something for here as well. I'll make the background green, make it bold, and yeah, sample size 20. Um, so this is how it will be displayed in real time. You can also um, drag and drop your dimension, your fields from this left panel right here. Let me just drag and drop product category to this. It will show you the syntax, and then when you click on apply, as you can see, the product category has been added to your chart right here. So this is how it will look. Um, these are some of the enhancements that we have done to our compose document. So you can edit your charts and reports from here itself. Another feature that we added to our compose document was a coordinated document. So um, like I mentioned, the coordinated document is so you can use this feature to split your content into multiple pieces of content that in the order that you want. So in this case, I want this to be sorted country-wise. So I've created a sample bar chart using revenue and category sales, selecting PDF as the output format. Let me run this, and I've added customer country um, as the coordinated document and in the header itself. So we know what it is being split by. Give it some time to load. Okay, so as you can see, our chart has been split into multiple pieces of content based on the field that I had specified, which was customer country. And using the heading, we can verify it. So here you have Argentina, here you have Australia. If I scroll down, you will see other countries as well, Colombia, Germany, Ireland, so on and so forth. So basically, you get the idea. Um, that's coordinated documents for you. Now, let's move on to our next section, which is for the portals. So to create a portal, what you can do is you can, from the hub, navigate to your desired workspace in which you want to create a portal, click on the plus icon, and now you have a dedicated option to launch your portal. You can click on that option, and the first thing that you'll be prompted to do is add a title, name, and alias. So just let me add in a dummy name, test portal one. Um, and then if I want to set an alias, I can do that. I'm not doing it for now. Let's just click on create. And yeah, this is your UI. Uh, Starting from the left, you can see that you have two tabs, component and content. Using the component tab, you can add components onto your, um, you know, onto this pane right here and arrange your components pages in the order that you want. And using content, you can drag and drop content onto your pane right here. Then we have the settings panel. So using this settings panel, you see we have added a bunch of options. We have general, we have theme. So general actually specifies the thing that we just did, that is title name. Um, if you want to display it or rather want your portal to have a theme, you can specify it from here. The content has the live preview option. How do you want to navigate? Do you want it on uh, the navigation to be on the side or on the top? So this is how it will look on the top, and this is how it will look on the side. In case if you want to make any changes to the banner, and then which user menu do you want to display when it is being run. So I'll just collapse and move to general now. This is where you will arrange your sections. And yeah, let's get started. So the way that you do it is, let me add a section. So this is basically drag and drop. I can rename the section that I want to. So I'll just rename it to test section A and click on save, and that will update this. The name has been updated. And as you can see, I can do other stuff as well from here. I'll close this for now. And then what I can do is to add a page under it. I can just simply drag and drop a page onto section 1, and that will be added under section 1. Similarly, if I want to add a piece of content that has already been created by me, so okay, let's say drill, I can do the same. Here it will ask me two options if I want to add it as a copy or add content as a link. What this basically means is when I say add as a copy, it will create a copy of the original content and then add it to the page. So any changes that I made uh, to the copied content will not affect the original item. However, if I add it as a link, this will just add a link to the original content. And if I make any changes here, my original content will get, the changes will get updated on that content, piece of content as well. So depending on your preference, you can choose either one of these. So for now, I'm just choosing as a copy. And this is how it will look. What I have done is I have created an existing portal. So I've added pages to it and created this navigation. So you can also, add the page and then right click here to edit it. So you can open the page and just like I showed, you can drag and drop items from the content panel. Once you're done, you can save and then come back to your portal. Now, if I run this, this is how it will look. So on the left, I have my sections using which I can navigate. These are collapsible. So if I want to jump to a particular content, a particular page, I can just do that by simply click. The heading will be displayed right here. You have your bookmarks and then export options. And on the top right-hand side, you have your user preferences. So the ones that we enable during our portal creation will be displayed based on your selection. And yeah, that is the portal creation for you. I will now hand it over to Alex Somo, who will be giving you the demo and explanation of Excel compound document and map enhancements. So over to you, Alex. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Aniket. Aniket already touched on some of the document enhancements that we did. So I just wanted to go a little bit deeper into one of the new areas where we did a lot of document enhancements, which was Excel documents. So actually, first I'll start with the presentation, just as a recap. So you may remember, if you've created Excel documents in InfoAssist, you may remember the way that those were generated was each component that you had in the Excel document would be placed onto a separate worksheet. So for example, you can see here with the updates that we made in the past, if you had two reports and a chart on one page in your document, then when you rendered it, it would make a separate worksheet in the spreadsheet that had each report on a separate thing, and then the chart also would be on its own worksheet. So now, just like when you create a PDF or HTML document or any of our other formatted documents, each of the components will now be on the worksheet or page layout, to use the technical term, that you specified. We also added a lot of relative positioning properties. Excel is a little bit different from PDF. PDF is like a pixel by pixel positioning system. Same with like any browser hosted document. You can position things very exactly. In a spreadsheet, things are a little bit different. The report is actually generated as real data in the cells of the Excel spreadsheet. And obviously Excel also being a cell-based layout means that things are positioned a little bit less granularly, but we added some relative positioning options so that you can position your items relative to each other based on the cell distance between them. And also that way, since you might not know the actual dimensions of your report, you can just specify this one should be this distance from the other one, and that way you don't have to worry about the two overlapping. So that's something we added for that as well. And we added pretty much any of the features that are available for Excel reports to Excel documents. So you can create documents with Excel tables, support Excel templates. If you have like a multi-worksheet Excel template, you can use that. We added support for images using object equals image. That's how we add images to PDF documents and other documents. So now that's supported in Excel as well. Previously, we didn't have support for that. And finally, we also support for compound documents in Excel as well, including reportcaster bursting. So if you want to distribute that Excel document and burst it to different recipients, then you can do that as well. And the way that will work too is that if you have multiple worksheets, kind of similar to a PDF, you'll have separate chunks of worksheets for each coordinated value. So for example, if my first value here, you see accessories, if I had made that the coordinated, made product category the coordinated field, then I'd have accessories page 1, page 2, page 3, and then I'd have camcorder page 1, page 2, page 3. So all those features are supported in Excel now. And Designer, when you create an Excel document in Designer, we will do some like default layout stuff. And then you can edit it in the text editor if you want to customize that. And we're working on some UI options for that as well moving forward. And then I'll also touch on some of our mapping enhancements. The main kind of theme that we implemented in 9.3 for maps was mostly UI enhancements so that you can do everything in the multi-layer map interface. So things like SVG icons, like you can see here, drill downs, and other features, other marker options, and series-based options. Those are all supported in the UI. We also added support for a few new widgets that are available from the Esri API. So that includes, we have a new sketch widget. We have, I think we did some enhancements to bookmarks to include those sketch widgets. And we also have like a time slider. So if you have a date time field, you can put it there and use it to kind of filter your map. So these are all new features that are also available from our UI. So I will show just a little bit of what we added here. Here's an example of a document that I have created in Designer. You can see that the first page has these 3 items. Second page has these 2 reports, and then the third page has a chart. When we render it, Designer actually has some default settings. You can see here our output format options. You could output it as a PDF and it would look just like it does in the page layout, pretty much, unless there's like overflow and stuff that changes, how the pagination works if the reports are too long, for example. But Designer also adds some default positioning. So basically we put each item one above the other, and we have separate settings for each. So those of you who are familiar with WebFOCUS language, we have this is the positioning for PDF, and then we added some new properties to position it for Excel. And so what I've done also is I've gone ahead and opened it up in here in the text editor. And what I've said is, okay, here's my first report. It's at 1-1, so it's the top left corner, cell A1. And then I want my second one to be 2 cells to the right of that report. So position the top left of my second report against the top right of the first one. And then for my third item, I wanted to put it 1 cell below this second report, table chart 2. So I'll show you what that looks like in the output and how it reflects what I had specified. So you can customize like the position in a relative manner. If this report was longer, then this chart would be placed further down the page. And you can see that also if this report had more columns, this would be farther over because it would maintain that 2 cell distance that I specified. And you can also see that these are the items on the first page layout. These are the 2 reports that I had on the second page layout. And here's a chart that I had on the third page layout, and I changed the size of this chart as well. You can see here that I increased that to 12 by 27 cells so that when it rendered, it was a little bit bigger. So these are all options that you can apply custom, or you can just use the default layout, which would be one above the other so that, there's no overlap and you can render everything either as one of your absolutely positioned document outputs, or you can use the new XL option. So a lot of features there. Here's just an example of a coordinated document to show that that is also available for Excel as well. And if it have multiple pages, it'll output each page separately. So we made a lot of enhancements to Excel documents and basically applied like as many of the features as we could from our other document formats in for Excel reports as well. And then getting to maps, as I mentioned, we added a lot of stuff to the UI. So here you can see a kind of crazy example of a map where I've customized all the icons for each different series. So I will show you just a couple of the things that you can do and that I did in this map. In the map properties, which you can access from here or by right-clicking the layer and selecting it's like format layer. Yeah, like map properties thing. I might need to refresh this page, hopefully not. But in that UI, we added at the layer level, we added options to customize each series. And you can use either an image or an SVG. Okay, there you go. And so when I select data layer 1, because I only have one layer, but if you had multiple layers, you could do it for each of those. We have our marker options. You can set at the all level, or you can specify for each individual one. So in this case, you can see for Connecticut, I have a picture of a nutmeg because it is the nutmeg state. And in this case, I linked to the IBFS path of an item in my repository. Let me go back here. Of this item here, I just got the path for it from the properties. I copied it using this option here and put it right in there. But if you want, you can also use a URL to an external site. If you find like an image on the internet that you want to use, you could use that as well and just put it in the same area. You can also use this to navigate. Actually, this is probably what I did. I just navigated through the repository to get this item, so you don't need to copy and paste it all. You can just use this dialog. So that's an option for custom images. That's not what I want. And then for the other ones, I made an SVG using and pasted in the SVG path. So if you're familiar with SVGs, SVG is actually like a text file that defines kind of like the shape based on this path property. And there may be multiple paths in SVG as well. In this case, I'm using relatively simple ones, so there's only one path. What I did is I just pasted in the path here. And so this one's like the path is the outline of a lobster because that's, that's what Maine is known for. And yeah, it makes it very easy to create your own SVGs. There are SVG creators on the internet where you can just create a simple path. Or if you are familiar with Inkscape or Illustrator or other SVG editors, you can usually get the SVG path directly within the tool. Or by editing it in a text editor, there's like a path property that will have like information like this that describes the path of the SVG. So very easy, you can just paste it in and they can define the fill and border color for each of these. So that's what I did for the rest of these. So yeah, that gives you a lot of options for your icons. And of course, we have our default shapes as well. If you want to use one of those, you can specify the fill color and border. And then finally, also these options that we've had to do clusters. Clusters will use the icon that you specify, by the way. You can also do the heat map or the bins, which are features that we added in past releases. And then as I mentioned as well, we have other options available, including we have drill downs available. So you actually apply it on the location bucket. You configure drill down so if you click an icon, you can open a report or some other type of content. You can even use that JavaScript drill down option that Aniket demonstrated. Yeah, we have a lot of other options as well. I believe we have parameter field list support and other options. as well. So definitely worth taking a look at what is now a parameter field list option here. We're taking a look at what we support now in multi-layer maps. So yeah, I guess that's the end of my demo. And I know, yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right. Obviously, there's no one on here for questions.
Yeah, no questions.
So,
and the real one we had questions, but
yeah. But guys, I will include the Q&A from the previous webinar that we had. I will include that report so you guys can see those who asked questions and the answers that Alex and Aniket were able to answer. But with that, Alex, Aniket, thank you so much for coming back on to re-record this. And we will get this distributed out to the customers.